Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the LOLO CYNTHIA show. On today's show, we discuss the gripping reality of sports betting addiction among young men in Africa. We talk about the allure of sports betting, the impact of sports betting addiction, and ways that men who are addicted to sports betting can overcome it.
Over the past decade, sports betting has swept through African nations, captivating men with its promises of quick wealth and excitement. More and more men are engaged in some form of gambling, with a significant proportion addicted to sports betting. But what drives them towards this risky pursuit?
I see people winning. I find myself like I want to be that person, because if they are winning, then I am a man also. I need to win.
There are times when you need quick cash and you can't access, probably you don't even have funds at the moment, and there's quick cash you could just get, and you stake a game or two, money comes, quick cash that you can use to settle bills, to deal with stuff as they come up impromptu.
I have been betting last 8 years. I have raised a lot of money to bet. Every Saturday, must I bet? Must I have like a 500 shillings? I bet. If I don't have such kind of money like 500 to bet, imagine I get a lot of stress.
Nikianza kuhesabu zenye nimepoteza ni mingi, hata nitaacha kubet tu sahi. Zenye nimeluzi ni mob, maybe 100G. Juu naekeleanga na, so kila weekend lazima niekele jackpot. Nimekuwa nikibet for the last 2, 3, 4 years.
For many young men facing economic hardships, sports betting seems like a getaway to escape poverty and achieve success. The lure of easy money is a powerful force, driving them into a cycle of hope and disappointment.
I decided to start betting, to use it as a form of a side also, as a part-time income. I don't count my loss, that's just the truth. Because immediately a ticket, I use my mobile phone, and immediately a ticket is gone, I delete it instantly. Never can tell when you're going to make your major hit.
Man, I've been playing for so long, but it's not going well. I'm still trying, sha. Today I've been playing since morning since. I've been losing, sha, but I don't mind. I've been losing since morning, but I know I'm going to win.
Sports betting companies know how to capitalize on people's hope and desperation by enticing them with the promise of quick wealth. They target vulnerable people, promising quick riches, but for some men, it has cost them more than their money. It has cost them their dignity.
The total amount that I bet in a day is equal to the salary that I get in a day. So if I like getting to my place, I find myself, I have nothing. And my family are demanding, my sons need school fees, my house need to be paid. So you find like I'm rotating at the same point. I can't do anything, I can't go anywhere. And even I can't even compare those words I said, I can't compare among the men, because since I'm losing, also I'm losing in my pocket and I can't go anywhere.
I want to stop because I think betting is not helping me anymore, because I was thinking like, if I bet I will get this and I will get a huge amount, but I don't get it.
I'm in the process of quitting. Sometimes I bet once, when I lose, I go like 1 month to 2 months. Sometimes I bet once like that, in that form, until I'll be off from betting.
While the allure of easy money may persist, and it is evident that this issue is complex, we must work together to address the root causes and support those trapped in the clutches of addiction.
Welcome back. Joining us on the show to shed more light on the issue is Mr. Lloyd Turanira from Kenya, a football analyst, and also Mr. James Ndubise, a sport betting analyst from Nigeria. They'll be giving us insight as to how these sport betting organizations operate and maybe some of the tricks and ways that they're able to lure young men to sport betting. Thank you so much, Mr. Lloyd, and thank you, Mr. James, for joining us on the show. And just to jump into it, I would like to start with you, Mr. James, because you are a sport betting analyst. I'm very, very curious. Can you really explain to us the law of like sport betting? What is it about sport betting that just makes young men in different parts of Africa and the world in general give their last money, give their last cent just to be able to receive some form of like, will I say, returns on their bet? What is the allure of that?
Generally, the allure is the hope for wealth. Especially in West Africa and a lot of other countries where the basic stuff are not being met, and seeing examples of people who have won before, and their lives have been changed by it, gives them that hope that, okay, one day it will be my turn. For the poor people, it's more alluring because you do not exactly have to put a lot of capital. You understand? So when they put, maybe, I'm saying now from Nigeria, put 100 naira, there's a hope of 1 million or 2 million or even 30 million sometimes. Whereas for the rich people, they don't have to put that much money. The odds are not against them. But it's just the hope for wealth. It's the hope that kills. It's the hope that allures them. It's the hope that draws them closer. That hope of wealth. That is what is catchy. That is what is addictive. That's what brings them towards sports betting in general.
But it's a side hustle for them, for some, but also a main hustle for some others. Because a side hustle basically means someone who already has a job but looking for that extra income. But to others who are absolutely unemployed, it's their main hustle. They do not have any other job. So you'll find that a guy is employed in a well-paying job, let's say in a bank, but they're still betting. The pressures of life, they just want to make that extra coin. And you see, betting is something they can do in their office, wherever they are, even in their car, traveling to work. It's efficient because it's online betting. These betting sites are very efficient websites where you just need, and mobile money works quite well here in Kenya. You just send money from your phone to your account and bet. So it's not just the guys who are unemployed, but to guys who are also employed. But the danger of this is that it's leading guys to further poverty instead of improving their livelihoods.
Let's see this video, that what this guy said, and we'll talk about it. Thank you.
There are times when you need quick cash and you can't access, probably you don't even have funds at the moment, and there's quick cash you could just get, and you stake a game or two, money comes, quick cash that you can use to settle bills, to deal with stuff as they come up impromptu. I've been gambling since 2011 till date, and there is nothing that will make me stop gambling because it's fun, it tasks your mind, and it gives you an opportunity to get extra cash.
I'm with that guy who says, it's something that it has benefited him. So why is he stopping? I would use myself as an example and said, last year, I was out of a job in Hollywood and I had to come back to Nigeria. And I'll tell you that in everything I did, all the businesses, all the side hustles, my highest earner last year was sports betting.
Wow.
My highest earner, like what gave me money enough to change my car, to change my apartment, it was sports betting. So how will you tell someone like me to stop? You understand? The only difference with the rich and the poor is that if now I arrange, because I'm a pro, I arrange, let's say 10 odds, and I give it to a poor guy and he puts 1,000 naira, that's just 10,000 naira. You understand? It doesn't change his life. But there is someone I'll give that is going to put 1 million on it, and that's 10 million. That is the difference. It's the same code, the same games, the same odds, the same luck. But for the poor guy, it's just 10,000 naira. And for the rich guy, that's 1 million turning into 10 million naira. And there are not a lot of businesses that will give a rich guy 10 million. Immediately he puts 1 million on it. So that's the allure on both sides. So fundamentally, I would just say, just like most things, you need to have a way, you understand? You need to have a way to find balance. I have a friend who there was a time I won like 22 million. He also won that same amount because we played the same code and the same amount. And in 3 weeks' time, he told me that they've taken about 17 million back from him. I'm like, how? First of all, when you win 22 million, you delete the app first. You understand? Like, that's your next move. You plan your life, you withdraw most of the money, you delete the app, you stay off sports betting for like 2 months. That's 22. But he was still going back there, trying to win more. And he lost 17 million of that money. That's where discipline comes in. He didn't know when to stop.
Yeah, but for me, the way I understand betting, and when betting was like initiated back in the days, I think was it by Chinese or the English? I don't know. It did not start as a source of income. It started as a fun activity. Even today, betting casinos by the rich men is still done as a fun activity. The guys who are betting in casinos in Las Vegas, they are not looking to get richer. They are just doing it for the adrenaline rush. You know, they are millionaires, billionaires. They have a lot of money. I would like maybe more stricter regulations, strict policies around betting. In Kenya, they've already started. 5 years ago, there used to be no taxes on betting. If I win 200 million, I get it intact as it is, untaxed. But right now, there is 20% bet on the amount won, and there is also another 7.5 betting, bringing it to about 27.5% on taxes. So if I'm placing 1,000 bob, that 1,000 bob, whether I win or not, it is taxed 7.5%. And after I win, there is 20% tax on whatever I win. So somehow that has helped in a way to bring back some of the guys that you are losing. But still, guys have adapted. You know, just this 20%, I can still win millions. Maybe the authorities, the betting authorities, here in Kenya, it's called the Betting Control Board. They can look for other ways on how to maybe target the companies themselves. Maybe you guys should give back to the community in this way, a percentage of your earnings, maybe corporate tax. You maybe build a stadium, because in Kenya we're struggling with the stadiums. So if the betting companies realize their financial implications on their end, their profits are being targeted, they probably maybe toned down with the marketing. A lot of their revenues is being eaten up by the government. Probably it can control. It cannot stop, but it can control.
Betting is my hope. I can't do without it. I know it has actually gotten to a place I'm all alone. My family doesn't talk to me anymore. They say I'm a lost cause because I can't stop betting. My friends don't want to talk to me anymore because I've accrued so much debt from them. I've had my girlfriend leave me because we have had cases of being evicted from our house. I know I'll make it. I just can't stop because I know it will all add up one time. It will make sense, and everyone will say it. It will make sense.
I am intrigued by the cycle of hope and disappointment that these men who are addicted to sport betting go through. And I know it's something that's very easy for us to judge from the outside in, but in the LOLO CYNTHIA show, we do not do that. So we actually have a clinical psychologist who will be joining us from Cape Town, Mr. Aluta Kiba, to give us insight to the psychology of addiction, specifically gambling addiction, and ways that men who are currently addicted to it can overcome it. Thank you so much, Mr. Aluta, for joining us on the show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite.
So we're just going to jump right into it. We've watched like a documentary showcasing different young men who are addicted, and we just watched one right now. And I would want to get your opinion regarding the psychological mechanism of like the cycle of hope and disappointment. Because just before your segment, we spoke to like a sport betting analyst who really mentioned the fact that it's all about hope. The allure of it is about hope. But for me, it feels like so many people have hope, but at the same time, they get disappointed, but they keep on playing. So what is that cycle? What is the psychological cycle of hope and disappointment experienced by these men who are addicted to sports betting?
So thank you. That's a loaded question. But before I attempt to answer it, I would first like to just share a quotation from Samuel Johnson, who says, "The chains of a bad habit are too weak to be felt until they are too strong to be broken." So you find that with most men who are struggling with this addiction, they get to a point where they become hopeless, helpless, because they've tried on a number of times different methods, different treatment modalities to try and break away from the addiction. But from what we know, it's that the relapse rates within addiction are quite high. So most men then end up feeling the sense of hopelessness and helplessness because they've tried and exhausted every means to break out of the cycle, but they just keep on coming back to square one. So it's really challenging. And with addiction, other people usually say the mind has been hijacked by whatever substance or thing that you are addicted to. So with sports betting, you find that with young men, the part of the brain that is responsible for decision making, for judgment, self control, basically becomes compromised as a result of the addiction, as a result of taking part in sports betting for quite a while. So it's hard, but I would say that men shouldn't lose hope. There are people out there, there are organizations, there are professionals who can position themselves to try and just say you can walk this path again. So the important thing is never giving up, even if you feel that your mind and your brain has been hijacked by the addiction.
Now let's just talk about practical steps. Let's say I have, this betting addiction, or I have a brother, or, my father, my uncle that is dealing with a betting addiction. What are some practical steps that I can take if I am dealing with, sport betting addiction right now? And also, what are some suggestions you can give families and communities to be able to support those people who are dealing with a betting addiction?
Hmm. If you can allow me, before I answer that question, to just get back to what you referred to just previously. So,
Yeah.
with betting or any addiction, it affects us at a biological level. So it basically changes the chemistry of our brains and how we think, and most probably our neurons. So that's why it doesn't have any boundaries. The mere fact you're human, and whether you come from a different socioeconomic background, you occupy a certain position in society, this addiction does not care about that, because it affects you at a biological level where we are all the same. So that's why you need to be just careful of that, and not say because you have resources or you have power or you have this, you might be immune to this. No one is immune to it, and we should take all the necessary steps to safeguard our mental health. Just to answer the second question that you proposed, practical steps. Sure, that's a difficult one, because you'll know that gambling sites are also available online. and we have access to our smartphones, so we're constantly exposed to so many triggers. You can go on YouTube and search for a video, and while you're searching for that video, a sports betting ad comes up or pops up, So this is basically the position that we're finding ourselves in, that we can't escape the triggers. They're everywhere. But what's important, it's, I would say, to tell someone, a trusted friend, a trusted relative, that you're struggling maybe with sports betting, you've exhausted, or it's draining you financially, and that person can then walk this journey with you. So I think the most important thing is being transparent and being honest about um, what you are struggling with, and then people are able to come on board and assist you. So I can't suggest to people that don't have smartphones, because we're living in a world where we need to be constantly connected. And what are you going to do when the triggers pop up on your phone? So I can't really say. The other thing is, I can't also say don't go to work, because these sports betting establishments, outlets are everywhere. So what should you do? That's a very philosophical question, I think. But I think what will help you, it's having someone you trust who can walk this journey with you. So
Yeah,
being honest about
vulnerability,
it.
transparency, and having like a
Yes,
strong support system. And just as
absolutely.
we round up, thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because with addiction, the one thing that it has is like it has shame. So even
Mm,
the remedy is difficult because you have to overcome the shame associated with addiction before you
yes.
can even break free.
I know that with men, what usually happens is we want to be strong. We don't want to be vulnerable. We want to manage things on our own. But in so doing, we end up we end up incurring more damage, or doing more damage to ourselves and the people around us. So the important thing is just to say, it's okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, at this point I'm feeling weak. Help me. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. It won't make you less of a man or emasculate you. You're still a man, but you have challenges that you need someone to assist you with and overcome.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end of today's show, and I hope you really enjoyed it. If you're a young man who is currently dealing with sport betting addiction and you saw yourself in some of these stories, I hope that the practical steps that the psychologist rendered has been helpful or will be helpful for you. I just want to say a very big thank you to the men who shared their stories. I am very grateful for your honesty, vulnerability, and transparency on our show, and I hope that your story would inspire other young men out there who are watching it. Thank you so much for the viewers for watching today's show. My name is LOLO Cynthia, and I'll see you next week on the LOLO Cynthia Show. Bye-bye.